mattress that kills problem ants on the outside so they can't come inside. And that's music to a homeowner's ears. Look for Ant Block and the entire line of Andro Kills Ants products at andro.com.
Everybody's talking at me.
This is CRN Digital Talk Radio, the original Talkback with Chuck Wilder. Paul Stern, standing by the toll-free number, 1-800-336-2225, 1-800-336-2225. We're live across America on this radio station, our cable system, and around the world at www.crntalk.com. Today's guest, Dr. Jerry Corsi, WorldNet Daily Red Alert News. A brand new and hot off the presses today, a call to indict the world's top global warming guy. We're going to be talking about that. Also, the president is using a Connecticut Social Security number. I don't know why. And Russian scientist says the sun heats the earth. Will also try to get into the BP explosion, confirms abiotic fuel oil theory. All right. In the second hour, Alan Gottlieb, chairman of the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, president of the Second Amendment Foundation, looking at new attacks against your Second Amendment, plus the terror watch list. Very interesting. And to wrap things up, Derek Still. He is the author of Addict at 10. His personal credibility on drug dates back to the age of 8. Wait until you hear his story. Very interesting. In the news, with the electoral's intense anger reverberating across the country, this is all but certain that it is an anti-Washington, anti-establishment year, and candidates with ties to either had better beware. Any doubt about just how toxic the political environment is for congressional incumbents and candidates handpicked by the National Republic and Democratic leaders disappeared late yesterday when voters fired Democratic Senator Arlen Specter in Pennsylvania, forced Democratic Senator Blanche Lincoln into a runoff in Arkansas, and chose Tea Party darling Rand Paul to be the GOP nominee in Kentucky's Senate race. Taken together, the outcome of primaries in Pennsylvania, Arkansas, Kentucky, following voter rejections of GOP Senator Bob Bennett of Utah, Democratic Republican Alan Mulholland in West Virginia, provided further evidence that voters are in the mood to choose outsiders over insiders. Future implications could be huge. Candidates like Paul and Representative Joe Seastack, who defeated White House-backed Specter, owe little or nothing to their parties. Coalition building, already a lost art in Capitol Hill, could become tougher if more candidates come to Washington as insurgent free agents. Big-moneyed special interest groups could recruit and fund candidates, the domain of the strong Democratic and Republican parties. It's not healthy for democracy, said GOP consultant Ben Ginsberg. He's an attorney and leader of the Republican establishment in Washington, but it is what is becoming. An exception to the anti-establishment trend was the race to fill the vacant House seat in conservative-leaning Pennsylvania congressional district. The voters elected the late Democratic Representative John Murtha's one-time aide, Mark Kritz, over Republican businessman Tim Burns. Oregon, by the way, also held its primary. There were no surprises, perhaps indicating that voters were expressing their frustrations at the ballot box. Turnout appeared to be up in Pennsylvania, Arkansas, and Kentucky from the most recent previous statewide primary elections. The tone for the party nominating season was set on the busiest primary night of the year, and as more contests loom large, particularly among Republicans, but it is difficult to say whether this early season trend will hold true during the general election. Much could change between now and November, especially given the uncertainty of the economic recovery after the worst recession in generation and the unemployment rate hovering at 10%. Well, the role of endorser-in-chief isn't working so well for President Barack Obama. Senator Arlen Specter became the fourth Democrat in 7 months to lose a high-profile race despite the president's active involvement, raising doubts about Obama's ability to help fellow Democrats in this November elections. The first three candidates fell to Republicans, but Specter's loss yesterday to Representative Josie Stack in Pennsylvania's Democratic senatorial primary cast doubts on Obama's influence and popularity even within his own party, and in a battleground state, no less. Now, you know, Obama campaigned for Specter, and as Specter tanked, they said Obama couldn't be found in the Keystone State. He and his handlers didn't even want to risk more embarrassment after Obama's campaign for losing gubernatorial candidates in New Jersey and Virginia, and couldn't keep State Senator Scott Brown from claiming Edward Kennedy's Senate seat. Now, this is very, very interesting. Don't know if you've heard this one. An Arizona utility commissioner said he's willing to pull the plug on Los Angeles if the city goes through with a boycott of his state. In a letter to the city of L.A., a member of Arizona's Power Commission said he would ask Arizona utility companies to cut off the power supply to Los Angeles. L.A. gets about 25% of its power from Arizona. Now, that is one commissioner who has an idea. Whether he can do that or not is another idea, said L.A. Councilman Dennis Zine. They are the ones who have to make the move, not us. Well, I think us has already made a move against Arizona, Mr. Zine. Anyway, the commissioner's power grid play is in the response to the city's approval of a resolution directing city staff to consider which contracts with Arizona can be terminated. Well, here's part of Arizona's Corporation Commission member Gary Pierce's letter to the mayor. If an economic boycott is truly what you desire, I will be happy to encourage Arizona utilities to renegotiate your power agreement so Los Angeles no longer receives any power from Arizona-based generation. I am confident that Arizona's utilities would be happy to take those electrons off your hands. If, however, you find that the City Council lacks the strength of its convictions to turn off the lights in Los Angeles and boycott Arizona power, please reconsider the wisdom of attempting to harm Arizona's economy. I love it. I personally absolutely do. Way to go, Arizona.